Hola!
Bom dia!
And welcome to the Sunny Saudade Project YouTube channel. I'm Carlos.
And I'm Charlotte. So, welcome. In this video, we are going to be teaching you basic Portuguese phrases. Maybe you want to learn a new language because it's New Year and that's a New Year's resolution. Maybe you've always wanted to go to Portugal and you plan to go for your first time. Maybe you've been there loads of times and you just want to sort of blend in a little bit more. Well, this lesson is for you. Up until about 5-6 years ago, I didn't speak a single word of Portuguese. I went there once when I was like 2, and then I met Carlos. If this is your first time here, basically I'm obviously very British, UK. I don't speak many languages, but my husband is Portuguese. He's actually from the Algarve, so he's been very good at teaching me some things that I think you wouldn't necessarily learn on an app or in school. I think being around someone that speaks Portuguese, it always helps you to learn a little bit better and find like a more natural way of speaking as opposed to what you would in like a normal language lesson. Just a heads up, so if you don't know Portuguese that well, Brazilian Portuguese and Portuguese are quite different. So if you're looking to go more Brazil way, you can use these basic phrases, they'll definitely understand you, but this is more your Portuguese. It's a bit like the UK and the US. There are some differences in words or a little bit of punctuation, certain pronunciation of words, so just be aware that if you're looking for that sort of Portuguese, this will be a good start, but we don't know Brazilian Portuguese. So the way we're going to do this is, obviously Carlos is from the Algarve, which is right down in the south, and they do have an accent down there. So we're going to get me to say the little bits I've learned so I can prove that I have been learning, and then Carlos is going to do like a version in sort of your traditional, more regularly used Portuguese accent, and he'll do a bit in like his Algarvian accent. This way you sort of hear the differences, and if I do start to like pick up his Algarvian accent, you can start hearing it where it is as well. Maybe you want to sort of pick up the Algarvian accent. Maybe you love the Algarve, you keep going back. Maybe you want to learn something you can use throughout. So we'll do both versions for you. So talking of the two accents, I'm going to get Carlos to speak a little bit more about the two accents and how to tell them apart.
As Charlotte has mentioned, I'm going to be teaching you guys the difference between an Algarvian accent, which is the one that I have, and a traditional Portuguese accent. So there's a very common phrase in the Algarve saying moço marafado, okay, which means like a wild teenager or a wild young boy. So in the Algarvian accent, what you do is you cut the vowels in the end of each word. So it actually, from moço marafado, it goes to moço marafado. So it's kind of like you blend the words together into one. Another example is the word for station, which we are going to be using in this video. In the traditional Portuguese accent is estação, but in the Algarvian accent is estação. So the E in the beginning of that word gets cut and it blends in with the rest of the word. So we just really laid back people, and we just try and be as lazy as possible, even when it comes to speaking.
So the first phrase / slide is Olá, bom dia.
The word for olá is when you greet someone in Portuguese. It's like saying hello in British, and when you say bom dia, it translates to good day or to good morning, essentially.
If you did want to learn some more sort of casual ones, I can't really do this one.
Oi!
It's basically, you would never say oi in English, it sounds really rude, but you can sort of say it a bit more casually in Portuguese. Say like you bump into your mum down the high street and she doesn't notice you, you sort of go oi and get their attention.
So for example, I say oi mãe.
Also, bom dia is something you'd obviously use more during the day. We do also have boa noite and
Boa tarde. So you would say boa tarde for the afternoon, and then boa noite for the evening.
If you say hello, you have to know your goodbyes. Tchauzinho, which is the very casual way. So you've been invited to like a friend's or something. That's the one you'll always hear.
So essentially, there's two ways of saying goodbye. There's a couple more, but the main two ones is adeus, which is just translates to goodbye. It's more of a polite one if you've been to an interview or to a job. Tchauzinho. She did a good job, okay? It's basically a very nice and polite way and casual. Okay, it's a casual way of saying goodbye to someone.
It feels a bit friendlier, a bit warmer, I always find.
Yeah, a lot friendlier, exactly.
So the second one I've got on here is obrigado/obrigada.
So in the Algarvian accent, because you cut the vowels in the end of each word, it goes to muito obrigado, muito obrigado.
Yeah,
so
sometimes
essentially,
you don't even pronounce the M. It's like muito obrigado.
Muito obrigado, right? So it's all bonkers, but it's really easy if you're in the Algarve, because depending on if you're male or if you're a female. Okay, so essentially, Charlotte would say obrigada to me because she's female, and I would say obrigado. But in the Algarve, because you cut the vowel in the end, it just makes life so much easier for everyone. It doesn't matter.
Cheap. That's why I think I learnt it that way.
She definitely learnt it that way. Did you want to try and say the Algarvian one?
Muito obrigado.
Yeah, there you go. See? There you go.
Natural. So one thing you'll often hear after muito obrigada, so weird saying it that way, is de nada. So say you've gone to like a restaurant and you said thank you, say they've poured a drink for you or something. Very often you'll hear de nada. That is just a nice polite way of replying to someone's thank you. It's like you've acknowledged thank you. It translates to like no worries.
Yeah, it's essentially you're welcome of the English language. And there's no real Algarvian way of saying it, so it's the same pretty much.
The next one, obviously, if you know your thank yous and your de nadas, is going to be please. Se faz favor. Up until recently, I actually thought this was one word. Turns out it's not.
Se faz favor. It translates to if you would do me the favor. It's use, please. This is a very casual, friendly way of saying it.
Yeah.
It's also quite useful. We've just talked about when someone pours drinks at a restaurant. So if you want to get a waiter's attention, the best way is to go se faz favor. And then there's the polite way of saying it, which is
por favor. I don't think I've ever used this actually in conversation.
The word por favor is mostly used in writing. So if you would go to a public swimming pool or to a cafe and they would have a sign saying, please no smoking in the cafe, or please no dive bombing in the swimming pool. Sometimes it would often be said, por favor, blah blah blah.
So one word that you always use in every language is your yes and your no.
So sim, that's in the traditional Portuguese way of saying it. But I think that the best way for you to learn how to say this word, and you probably know where I'm going with this. So
it's genuinely a good clip to learn from, because it really expresses that even though it's spelt with like an M at the end, for some reason you sort of close your mouth before you really get to that point is like drifts off. And that does that in all Portuguese. That's not just Algarve.
So the word for no, which is no, has an accent on it, which is the till. So you will often see a little waveform on top of it. And what that does to a vowel is that it makes it sound, it gives it a nasally sound. So it goes from like now to no.
So this next phrase is one that I learned very quickly because I love food and wine.
In fact, this was Charlotte's first full sentence that she learnt. Charlotte, will you try and ask for a glass of wine, please?
Eu quero copo de vinho, se faz favor.
Not bad, not bad.
Still got it.
I wonder if that means I want a glass of wine or not.
So we talked about O's and A's. A's are female,
O
O's
is
are
male.
male.
So wine is male in Portuguese because vinho ends with an O. So essentially what you do is eu quero copo de vinho. Okay, now if you're going to ask for a beer, a beer is actually female because the word for beer, cerveja, ends with an A, which is very useful to know. So what you do in this situation, you say eu quero uma cerveja. Okay.
And then se faz favor.
Se faz favor.
To be nice.
The important thing is you would put so and then the other word that you're trying to say, which is male, and then you put uma, so UMA with the female word.
Also, you do this with two. So if you want two of something, I think it's duas and dois. So duas being the female, dois being the male.
Male, yeah, which is correct. Okay.
And then after that, for some reason, you just forget that rule and just go tres, cuatro, whatever.
Yeah.
It's weird. So the next one is the one that I'm dreading the most because I thought I knew it. I realise I don't usually say it properly. I've just been getting away with, first of all, using an Algarvian accent and also trimming bits off the sentence. Instead of going, where is the toilet? I sort of just go, toilet?
We are going to teach you how to say it properly.
Yeah, so...
The word is, just start with the word and then we'll go to the sentences in a minute.
Onde está?
Onde está? Okay, this is quite interesting.
Where is?
Because the word está has a little accent, which is a sharp accent on the A. And what that does is it puts the tonic of the word on the A. So if you break that word into two syllables, es and sta, so es and ta, you would say it está.
Yeah, so
okay.
It goes up. So... for example, used in a sentence. Right, okay. Onde está a estação do comboio?
She did it! She's done it.
I thought it was going to take me 100 times to do that.
She did it in about 15.
Yeah.
So here we're essentially asking, where is the train station?
Yeah.
Onde está? Where is the estação, station de comboio? Where is the train station?
I'd say like the most used one for this, instead of just going Casa bem, which is what I would usually use, which I think is a very Algarvian way.
That is so butchered, mate. I will... Go on, continue.
Anyway, so yeah, you would say onde está a casa de banho? So
you in the traditional Portuguese accent, onde está a casa de banho, right? But in the Algarvian accent, you say casa de banho.
Yeah.
So you cut the E out of the D in between the words and banho.
Cut most
and
of it.
Onde está a casa de banho?
Yeah, I used it when we were on a honeymoon, actually, just going casa de banho, and they started speaking to me like I knew fluent Portuguese, and I was just nodding like, yeah. And then I just sort of ran away to Carlos and got him to work it out.
She was so close.
Hey, Bean.
Mr. Wilkes. Mr. Wilkes is asleep. He's been asleep for all this. We have a giant ring light in front of us. We're shouting and screaming at the camera.
He's alive. Oh, there you go.
There he is. Activity.
He's not very happy.
Oh, someone's woke him up.
Oh.
Oh. It is such a hard life to be Mr. Wilkes.
Terrible. So the next word we're going to put in is one that I think everyone should learn in any language, just like your hello and your yes and whatnot. It is desculpa. So this is basically sorry. Desculpa, which is the one you use all the time.
All the time, yeah.
Do I say that one all right?
Yeah, that's fine.
That one's fine.
Desculpa.
He just says it lower than I do. Everything you do is more like,
That there is the other way of saying, which is the polite way. If you want to say I apologize is more polite. You would say peço desculpa.
Yeah.
As in I ask for your forgiveness.
One way that you would often use desculpa, apart from just generally apologising, is also for getting attention. It's kind of, it can be used like excuse me. Again, trying to get someone's attention, say at a restaurant, trying to order, something like that. That would often work. So, if all of the other ones fail, maybe you're just not quite getting that accent yet, don't worry, there is a fail-safe, which is tu falas português. No, tu falas English. Let me be clear, tu falas inglês, not Portuguese.
Right. Tu falas English?
Yeah.
Question mark? You're just asking someone, do you speak English?
In Portugal, like one of their main sort of industries is tourism, the majority of which are usually from the UK. It's been like, we've been their main source of income for so long.
Yeah,
so chances are they will speak English. You may struggle if you go somewhere a bit more remote. If, say, for example, if you're in the Algarve and you want to go up into more like the mountain villages, that's where you might start struggling.
Yeah.
But even then, it's taught at all the schools.
Yeah.
And yeah, they usually know your basic. Anyway, we hope that we haven't waffled on too much. And these are useful for you. Try using them as often as you can. I do find if you're trying to learn Portuguese, the best way to learn is to speak to someone else. I know obviously in the UK that may not always be easy, but maybe find a little pen pal or something so you can get your practice in, or just walk around the house listening to it. That's a good way.
Comment, leave a like, subscribe. Let us know in the comments if these phrases have been useful and if you would like to learn any other phrases.
What just happened?
Please comment, leave a like and subscribe, and let us know in the comments below if these phrases have been useful for you and if you would like to learn any more in particular, and it will show interest and we might do more of these videos later.
Alright, tchauzinho!
Tchauzinho! Yeah, you sure?
Look at Wilkes. The polite way of saying it, which is...
Por favor.
Oh, yes, of course.
Entus Portugal. It's quite a funny video, this one, actually.
Oh, my bean.
Good. That was good. That was good. Charlotte's done a good
That's the
job.
beginning bit.
Okay, so.
For example, used in a sentence. I'm getting ready. Right. Onde está? Okay. Onde está? Estas são. Onde esta
A estação
a estação
do comboio.
do comboio.
Okay.
Onde está
Onde está
onde está
a
a
estação? Onde
No, it's not right. Shh. Let me just keep saying it until I get it. Okay? Onde está a estação do comboio?
She was very close. She missed a bit in the beginning.
So another word that I think everyone needs to learn